So today I want to talk a little bit about working with willpower. Where there's a will, there's a way. We've heard of that. But how do we keep the will so we can still have the way? Have you guys ever tried to implement a bunch of new habits at one time? Has anybody tried that? Around the turn of the year, the new year hits and you kind of have a new idea about how your life is going to look like? You've tried that? Maybe had 4, maybe 2 or 3. And how successful have you guys been? I'm just curious. Have you got, let's say you had 4 new things you wanted to implement. Have you been able to do that? Not one testimony of success. Come on. Well, willpower is one of those things that I think we kind of take for granted and we don't always respect. So we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning. Number 1, willpower is a limited resource. There's a reason you can't just do 4 new things at one time and be successful. It's not like you were a computer where you program something differently and from there on we operate in a different way. We don't work like that as humans. There was this guy named Walter Mischel who was studying how humans work back in the late 60s or early 70s. And he got a bunch of parents to enroll their kids in this little test. And he'd put kids in a room with an adult and a marshmallow. And he would tell the kids, or the adult would say, hey, I need to leave. I'll be back in a couple minutes, but don't eat the marshmallow till I get back. And if you don't eat the marshmallow till I get back, you'll get another marshmallow. Very basic. Just don't eat the marshmallow in front of you till the adult gets back and you get 2 marshmallows instead of 1. So as the adult would leave the room, there was a camera there on these kids, and the kids were just incredible. They're petting the marshmallow, they're smelling the marshmallow, they're talking to the marshmallow, they're pulling their hair, they're doing all kinds of things to try not to eat that marshmallow. And the adult that was in the room would go for about 10 minutes till they'd come back. And it is a long time. And only like 2 out of every 10 kids could delay themselves the treat and not eat that till the adult returned. Only about 2 out of 10. They just couldn't do it. And that's willpower. That's the lack of willpower when there's something in front of us that we want. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding of what willpower is, if that was a computer and you told the computer not to do this certain thing on a good day when it's working like it should, it won't do it because you programmed it not to. But human beings are not that way. We lack willpower when we sometimes need it the most. So willpower can be drained dead. And I want you to think of willpower as like a battery. And when there's something that you need to do, let's say the weeds need to be pulled at the house. I remember this when I was especially younger. Mom wanted us to work in the garden and pull the weeds. I did not really enjoy pulling weeds in the garden on a 90-degree day. So I'd lay around on the couch, just putting it off as long as I could, getting more and more tired as I went along laying on the couch, thinking about pulling the weeds. Because the willpower was being drained out of me, because the longer I put the hard thing off, the less willpower I had to go do it. It's crazy how it works. But when there's something we know we need to do and we put it off, we drain ourselves. So you show up and there's a hard task in front of you, no matter what it might be. There might be, for me, a hard customer to call back or a hard conversation to have. The longer I put that off, the more tired I feel. Does that make sense? It's draining my willpower. So don't drain willpower dead with inaction. If you know there's something big you need to do it, because willpower is a limited resource. Number 3, though, willpower is not on will call. We can't do everything right, but we can do what counts right. This goes back to the 4 new things I was talking about, let's say around the turn of the year that you want to implement. If there's a place that I want to get to in life and it's requiring a lot of change in my life, there is no way I'm going to be able to change everything at one time. Or at least very, very unlikely unless I have a very big amount of willpower. So let's say I want to change the way I eat, I want to change the way I sleep, I want to change the way I use my free time, and I want to exercise, and I want to read some good books, and whatever it might be. I just put all these things on. There's no way I'm going to do all that just like that. Maybe I will for a week or two, but my willpower will run out. So what you have to do is decide what's the biggest thing that you should do first. We've talked about this before here a little bit. But we can't do everything right, but we can do what counts right. So figure out what counts the most and start there. And once you have that into a habit, then you can add something else, because once something is a habit, it takes way less willpower to continue a habit. Does that make sense? So you can't do everything right, but you can do one thing right. So work with your willpower. Do the big, important, and hard thing first. Every single day, when I'm thinking straight and correctly, because I am a human, but this is what I try to do. The biggest and the hardest and the most important things, I try to do first, every single day. So if there's something that I need to do that's difficult, I hit it. I hit it right away. You show up at a hard job, if you're out there on the crew, and there's something difficult to do it first thing if you can. Because you get that first thing done, then you just feel like you can coast through the rest of your day. My brother Anthony and I used to install fences together, and we would not take a break till all the posts were set on a job, if it was a day job. If we were supposed to get that job done in one day, we would set all the posts, tear out everything, get everything set, do all the hard work first before we took a break. Then when we took a break, it was like, man, we're about done. This is crazy. We can relax, we can have fun, eat our lunch, which was a very short amount of time in our day. And then we hit it. And it was just like, there was all kinds of energy because we got all the hard things done first. So if you are putting those hard things off till later, it's going to drain your willpower. So then when you actually have to do it, you're going to show up with won't power, and you won't be hardly able to do it because you're so tired. So when you're looking at something in the face that's hard, or if it's important, do it first. Makes the rest of your day so much easier. Back to the habits. Create good sustaining habits one at a time. Use your willpower. Maximize your willpower on one thing when you're trying something new. When you have that one thing down, then you can move on to the next thing. Here's something you need to really be careful about. Be mindful of when your willpower battery is low. There's other tests that have been done on willpower, and when people have expended their willpower, worked hard, and used their willpower throughout the day, they're much more likely to make bad decisions when their willpower is low. So maybe when their willpower is high, they would eat healthy things. Instead of reaching for the high carb thing, they would eat something healthier. But there's this one study they did, this just kind of fascinates me, where they would give difficult math problems to one group of people and easy math problems to another group of people, and then ask them to meet in a room at the end of a hallway after they were done with their math problems. And along the hallway, they had healthy food on the one side and unhealthy food on the other. This is a serious study that they did. And the people who had done the hard math problems were way more likely to eat the unhealthy food than the people who had done the simple math problems. They were just showing how when you tax yourself, when your willpower starts to run low, when your energy starts to run low, you make worse decisions. So be mindful of when your willpower battery is low. That's when we get ourselves into trouble. When we're feeling good and we know what we want to do and we have the energy to do the right thing, we tend to do the right thing. But when we're worn out, that's when we kind of show up with what our basic, what we want to do, what our normal way of operating is, not the glorified thing that we're trying to do, or maybe the new habits we're trying to be successful in. So, the willpower factor. Experience better problem solving, not less problems. Successful people in life do not experience less problems. They're just better at solving problems. So when you use willpower correctly, you will be better at solving problems and you can be more successful. And here's the last thing. Life is built on cycles. It's crazy to me as I watch my life, other people's lives, but life is built on cycles. Healthy habits and decisions make for healthier habits and decisions. If you're making good habits and decisions, it's easier to make better habits and decisions as a result of the good habits and decisions you've already put in place. For me, I've been running for maybe the last, 6 to 8 weeks, and it's easier for me to eat healthier just because I'm running, just because I'm exercising regularly. I think about what I eat a little more. Yes, I like to have a donut, and I can eat some things that are unhealthy, but I think about it, and so I eat a little less of that kind of thing because I realize how hard it is for me to keep weight off. So it's that kind of thing that when you do one good thing and do it right, it's easier to do the next right thing. So if you use your willpower and you put those good things in place, it's easier to do the next good thing, the next harder thing. Keep doing the right things. So again, just kind of overview, willpower is a limited resource. Don't drain the battery dead with inaction or trying to do too many things at one time. Work with willpower, be smart, do the big, hard, and difficult things first, okay? And then the willpower factor, if you keep doing the right things, it's easier to do more right things. So willpower has a limited battery life. Use it strategically and recharge it daily. Be smart about the way you recharge yourself. Do active rest.